let's just keep honest people honest.
Marie Teresa.
Thaddeus RV.
Elena Sandovici.
Lauren Luna.
Rodney D. Butler.
Hugo Perez.
Amy Cummins.
Flux the Artist.
Lex Simone.
Brandi Untz.
Amy Malkin.
Jean Barron.
Teresa L. Staley.
And MoNique LaRue. While during my mentorship in 2019, I continued to meet a lot of different artists. This next one was one of many that year. She currently has a studio space in a local artist studio community that's been around for quite some time. Her art is really cool and it's about truth, love, and freedom. So let's go pull up and you guys can meet this next Houston artist.
See, I know that I don't know what I don't know. Like, I know there's things I just don't know, but I know that things will happen. Yeah, so I'm Lex Simone. I'm an artist based in Houston. I make artwork that's focused on truth, love, and freedom. It's focused on raising the human consciousness and connecting with different spiritual, political, esoteric concepts sort of to push the thought of human freedom forward.
So what do you like about the Houston art scene?
Oh man, I love the Houston art scene. Like, what do I love about the Houston art scene is I love its communal aspect. I say that as an up talk. I love the communal aspect. I like the fact that I've been to cities like, I've been to like New York and I've seen how like different like LA and Chicago work, but like with Houston, it still has that grassroots street art feel. That's how I got started. I got started with like a bunch of street artists and doing like local pop-up shows. And there's still room in the Houston art scene to build yourself up just by making art alone. I think in some larger aspects, in some larger places, you have to, it becomes a little bit more of like who you know, whereas like in Houston, you can still be a little more grassroots and a little more grounded, and you can just do your thing and let whatever happens from you just making art. Yeah, of course. So like how I got started was, oh man, it's such a story. It's actually a really good story, but yeah, I got started around 2014. I was always an artist, like, most people, and I just graduated out of art school. I just started my first full-time job. I was a designer illustrator artist at a shirt making company. And I was hating that job. Like, it just wasn't the right fit. I don't know. I just hated it. It just wasn't working out. And that was a real big disappointment to me as a art grad coming out of school, trying to find a way to be an artist, live and eat and survive. And I did a lot of volunteer opportunities, and through network connections of those volunteer opportunities, someone connected me to an individual who wanted to start a small gallery that was, that kind of focused on local street art and local artists. And how I even got in on that was not even with the intention of being an artist. They needed a designer to design their logo. And so through designing that logo, they saw some samples of my illustrations that just happened to be online, and they were like, I would like to sell these. I would like to sell these to the public and, get people an opportunity to see your work. And I was just like, I compulsively make artwork like while I sleep on other people's couches, because I was just in a state of like semi-young person, homelessness, couch surfing, trying to figure everything out. And like, I just wanted to make art to express and to connect. And I had no intention at all of selling it because I had no intention of just doing anything other than just sharing it. And when someone was like, there's a monetary opportunity in this, and there's an opportunity to grow this talent into something beyond any plan that I had, I jumped on that opportunity. And in that process, I was thrusted, is the best way to describe it. I was just thrusted into the local Houston art scene. It was so funny because I went from being what I felt was like Little Miss Nobody to being like this local darling where people were just like, that's the girl who makes that kind of work. And I love her work. And I was just so astounded at how much love this city had to give for my work.
How do you feel about being an artist during COVID-19 and up to this point where we're in time, where it's July 15th of 2020, how do you feel about COVID and the events up to this point? And
Man,
that's a big question.
it is. But it's a good question. It's a big question. It's a general question. It's a good place to start. And then, you trickle down from there. Gosh. Quagmire is just the first word that comes to mind. All the methods. I just went from talking about my love for the Houston art scene to watching it be demolished in a matter of months. Now, you never really can demolish the human spirit or the artistic spirit or the ability to be able to create. But the ability to facilitate it locally, that was all done via markets for me. That was part of my structure. That was part of my plan. Artists in the streets. No one's in the streets. It's like, I'm not in the streets. I want to stay safe. It got to a point where people were like, well, now you have all this time to make work. And, for me, it was like, make work for what? I don't know what next month is going to look like. I don't know what 3 months is going to look like right now. When the future is incredibly uncertain, and with that uncertainty, I've just now, 3 months, 4 months in, have begun to recalibrate and shift gears and understand, okay, this is how I need to shift gears, and now I have the momentum to do it.
With what you just said, what do you think the world needs more of this time? What do you think humanity can benefit from if they had more of?
Awareness. That word is just awareness. I've had such diverse conversations from so many different groups of people, and I understand all the perspectives people are coming from with the situation. And in times of uncertainty, that's when people grab onto whatever they can hold the most. And it's just, there's a sort of, in a desperate attempt to control in whatever direction you want to control things in. There's a lack of awareness to the bigger picture of what's really happening. People are either concerned about their jobs or concerned about getting sick. Maybe some people are concerned about bigger things, but it's like we're still attached to the small things that really in the grand scheme seem incredibly petty.
On the other side of that coin, what do you think or feel we as humanity need less of in this time?
Oh, I could tell you for sure. If I think we need more awareness, I think what we need less of is this idea of separation. This idea that you can do something and that it doesn't affect the larger whole. And vice versa, that the larger whole can go about doing something and you can't be affected. I feel like this whole experience has brought unity consciousness to the forefront. It's showed itself in very it's self-evident. It's almost like if you're not seeing we just had a bunch of people lose their jobs. sit in their homes for 2 months and worry about how they're going to get their homes paid for and feed their kids and keep their businesses running. And then we have a mass swell of protests because of mass swell of violence. And, you know, and then the pandemic is still roaring. You're just sitting here going like, wow, everything in my experience is just telling us to come together in some, or at least come to self in some sort of way. And, you know, this idea now that it's just you, or that you're separate and disconnected from others, is just not gonna keep you going. Like, it's just not, like, it's just not sustainable.
So last question, what would be the Lex Simone message to the world?
Oh man, yeah, I can say all of that, and at the end of the day be incredibly simple about it. And you always have a choice. You always have a choice. You always have free will. That's it. I know there's people who would axiomatically disagree with that. But I also think those are the same people who aren't really waking up to the opportunities in front of them. You know, if you think that you need to sit and wait for something to happen in order for you to get whatever you want out of this life, I won't stop you, because you have a choice in that. But if you think that there are things out there that you want to do, I think, if anything about this illness, it should make people maybe appreciate life a little bit more and realize that, you know, you got one life. Really cheesy, cliche, but, you know, you got one shot, you know. Go out there. Do what you want to do. Do what feels good. Do what feels right. You know? Yeah.
Lex has a tremendous amount of insight and alternative way of thinking to share. And I always love hearing those sentiments from her. I even had a chance to, you know, art out with her a bit, and it was really incredible. This next artist, I honestly didn't have to go very far for. Matter of fact, just a quick turn down the hall, and I can't wait for you guys to meet this next Houston artist.